Shanti is the peace, is the nature of the Atma. And we want to reach to the Atma. The only time we're going to reach to the Atma is we realize that what we have been doing so far has been wrong. And it's unfortunate.
Futile.
It's been futile. We haven't reached anywhere. We've been still going through the Bhav Brahman. We've been going through this repeated births, and that's why we are here. We are here because we wanted it to be here. It was our desire that made us come here. So it's the desires that we have to win over. And when we don't have desires, we don't have to be born again. But if we keep doing what we're doing, and if we don't realize that we are going in a wrong direction, we're not going to be able to turn around. And the idea of the spirituality and the Shant Sudaras and great thinkers like Yasho Vijayji, Vinay Vijayji, all these people have really made us realize, Tirthankars and all that have made us realize that our direction of our thoughts, our direction of activity is wrong. We want to turn around and go back to our original nature, which is Shant, Shanti, peace. Peace is our real nature. The Atma is known for its peace. So wherever it's the direction that we're taking is wrong. So once we realize that, then all this knowledge is helpful. Otherwise, this knowledge has no value. So we should realize that when we going towards the material world is finite, and our existence is finite. Our nature in the material world that we experience ourselves, all the experiences that we have are finite because they are made out of finite objects. So the experiences coming out of that also has to be finite. It cannot be infinite. Infinite is only Atma. And to have that experience, to have perpetual happiness, you have to take another direction. You have to turn around 180 degrees. That doesn't mean you stop living in the world. You live with a different outlook and realizing that this is temporary. So if your winnings is temporary, your losings are temporary. So in any situation, if you can realize that, then you develop what they call samta. Samta is the equibalence state of mind. And then you start realizing your Atma. For that, Shanta Sudaras is providing us with 16 bhavs. It's a bhav granth. It is not a theoretical discussion. What is Atma? What is Jiva? What is body? What is physics? What is mind? There's nothing like that. It has given importance to bhav. Bhav dictates vichar, and vichar dictates kriya. Right now, we are so mesmerized by the things which are happening in front of us. All the things which are happening in front of us are perceived by our senses. But senses are not final. Senses only transmit the images. Eyes transmit the images. Ear transmits the sound. But ultimate perceiver is the mind. Mind perceives everything. Mind synthesizes everything. Mind interprets what it saw, what it did not see, what it liked, what it did not like. And doing all these things is so busy all the time that you never have a chance to think that there is something else other than what we see. The reason is because all these images are continuously being changed all the time. So we never have a chance to even a small window to pick through what is in between. When we speak a sentence, we give importance to the sentence so much that we never pay attention to the silence that is present in between the words. Because it's almost imperceptible. Because we are meant to perceive the motion. We are meant to perceive the action. Like we said last lecture, the neurons that we have, two sets of neurons. One set of neurons is created to perceive the action. So the magician is doing this, and the other hand he's taking our pocket away. He steals the wallet. You're not even seeing it. Because whatever is in front of you is seeing it. So we have two sets of neurons. One set of neurons only sees the action, activity, what emotion, and the another set of neurons suppresses which is not active. So it's like a double whammy. So we are like designed to see the world. And that's it. That was the whole purpose. But in that purpose, we are missing what is the creator of all these things. What created all these things? What is behind all these things? The only time we can do all these things when we transcend the mind. Because mind creates these objects for us. Because all these objects, the pleasurable objects objects that give us pain and suffering, all these are not really created by the objects. Objects have nothing to do with that. Objects are objects. We create the objects. That's why Rajneesh says, Kam generates Kamini. Kamini is not outside.
Absolutely.
Kam generates the Kamini. It's our desires that makes the objects more precious. And then he gives an example of one Raja Bhartari, right? He takes sannyas. He leaves the kingdom. He gave up millions and millions of dollars worth of wealth. He goes into the jungle. He's sitting there in one of the caves. He's sitting in meditation. All of a sudden, he sees a beautiful diamond on the road. And for a very fraction of a second, he takes an impulse. Let me go get it. And then he realizes it's so futile. I gave up millions of dollars worth of diamonds. And now even when I'm meditating, right? But he holds himself. Fine. He's waiting. All of a sudden, two horse riders come. They're passing by. And all of a sudden, one sees, the another sees. Same diamond. Then, swords are drawn for the sake of diamonds. They're fighting. They end up killing each other. Everything is happening. They're not even realizing that third set of eyes are watching the same diamond. Right? Ultimately, two soldiers die. They kill each other. Good morning. And then dead bodies are sitting there. The diamond is still there. And Raja Bhartari is thinking, he get a profound knowledge from this. He says, diamond was always there before that. Now, diamond was still there while they were fighting. And it's still there after they're gone. What happened? It is our vasana. It is our desires that give the importance to the diamond so much that we ended up killing ourselves. Mind takes us to the brink of suicide and we still don't think about it. We still believe our mind so much. People come. Rajneesh said that there's one guy came in, he says, I'm so unhappy. I want some peace of mind. So Rajneesh says, dhyan karo. He says, dhyan mein man nahi lagta. Man nahi lagta. Your dhyan is to transcend the mind, but man dhyan mein nahi lagta. He says, pratna karo. Pratna ki ruchi nahi hai. I want peace of mind. The mind can never be peaceful. Mind creates all these objects of pleasures. Mind draws us towards all these sets of people, objects, situations. We keep on going. They say the mind is like creates toys for us. It's almost like a child. You give him a toy, like a real small child. Give him a toy. He says, if his mother is dying, he would still keep playing with the toy. He wouldn't even care. So we really lose touch with the real knowledge and real purpose of our life. We're missing it because of all these interactions and our importance. It's all creation of the mind. So the mind has to be transcended with the bhav. The bhav dictates the mind. Once you have the bhav, because mind creates the thoughts and thoughts generates the actions, right? So your action is useless if there is no bhav. And same action with different bhav has no value.
So bhav is feeling?
Bhav is the feeling.
Like
Is the ultimate like belief, like your firm belief in something is the bhav.
Isn't feeling is also thought?
It is,
also?
yes it is. But it's more crystallized, more deciding factor. And yes, we are not out of it.
Right.
Even at the bhav level, we are not out of it.
Okay.
It's like tamas, rajas and tapas. Yes, everything is a bhav, right? But at the tapas level also, you still are interacting with the society. With the bhav also, bhav is just going to generate the thoughts and thoughts going to lead to action. So that's why this is more practical. This is, Shanta Sudaras is how to live in life. This is not about samadhi. But once you live at a bhav state, it's very easy to jump onto the samadhi level. But
more emotional, less logical, right?
Exactly, yeah. So then your bhav is always there before the kriya. So he gives an example. If a lady is there, her boyfriend is coming to see him, right? She prepares everything. She cleans the house. She prepares nice food. She decorates the house. All this kriya is being done. Supposing he does not come. And all that was done becomes useless. And he changes his plans. He comes later or whatever. But is kriya love? No. Bhav of love was even before she did the kriya. while she was doing the kriya, and this kriya became useless, but the bhav is still there. Her feeling for her lover was always there. So
She would kill him if he doesn't show up.
That's also bhav, right? That's anger, feeling with anger.
Anger, exactly.
then it's not a real bhav. Then it's not a real bhav.
Oh, okay.
Unconditional.
Unconditional.
Unconditional love is the bhav.
Yeah.
So that's the bhav we're talking about. And that's, again, it's a beautiful analysis that Rajneesh has said. He says that any feeling that can turn into its opposite is coming from the mind level. Because mind means duality. Mind can turn 180 degrees in a fraction of a second.
Correct.
You love him, but he didn't do this, so I hate him. So that feeling is coming from the mind level. It's not coming from the source. If it is coming from the source, from Paramatma, it will never change. Your love for your son, no matter what he does, you still love him, no matter what he does, no matter what he says. That's the love coming from a distance. And that's where the realm of singularity. Something that comes from that distance, far distance, will never change. Because mind means duality. Mind creates duality. Mind lives in duality. Mind is designed for duality. Like we said last time, the grain of sand. If mind is looking at the grain of sand, it sees only one face. It just cannot see the other side of the grain of sand. Now when you turn the grain of sand around and look at the other side, he blacked out the other side. You cannot see both sides at the same time. It's just not designed for it. That's why, and both the sides, mind thinks is real. So it creates two separate reality of the same grain of sand. Without looking at it as a grain of sand, it says two sides are two separate things. I'm just giving an example. So whatever we see, we believe it. And then whatever we don't see it. But when it manifests, we consider that also reality. But then we're not realizing that there is a link between the two. It is the same object, just has changed the appearance. And we like to look at two separate things. So one face we like, another face we don't like, and that's why we're going baffling. Rag, dvesh, hatred, love, all these things keep on active into the real world. The same girl, you see her and seems so beautiful. The same girl you see half an hour earlier has not brushed her teeth, has just woken up, comes to hug you with a really bad breath. And then he says, well, same girl. Yeah, but I like her this way, but not like her this way. You can't see in her face, which was not likable. That's why we like her when she like her. So all these things are baffling us all the time. So the mind always generates the dual feelings. And these dual feelings can turn opposite to each other. Not necessarily, could be tangential, could be a little different, but sometimes extremely opposite. But those are superficial. Those are not real feelings. So when the bhav, you live at the bhav level, which is very close to the God, and yes, you're right, bhav also is dealing with the duality, but in a different setup, in a different frame of mind. Bhav, you're almost close to the Paramatma. So at that level, so bhav granths are very important to realize the importance of different bhavs. So one of the bhav which eventually will make it is the anitya bhav. But again, we get sidetracked in between, so which is fun. So one of these days we'll make it the first bhav. Mr. Shanoy has been asking, are you there yet? Are you there? I'm trying to build up the frame and then the real structure will start. So one of the things that Jin Chandra Maharaj has been mentioning, he says that we are pravasi, we are a traveler. We have to realize that this is our temporary, residence. This is not our permanent home. So don't make a big home over here, meaning not a physical home, but don't consider this as a permanent thing. Once you consider permanent, then you want to settle down over here, you want to expand your empires and this and that. And then time comes, you got to go anyway. We don't think about all these things. Again, mind does not let you think those ways. Mind wants you to see what is in front of you. Okay, you have a deal here, I want to expand, I want to make more money. And for what? It's a futile thing. I mean, the guy is he's like 70, 80, 90-year-old, and he still wants to keep busy and busy. And he says, why are you doing all this? Well, you did all this money, but at some point you have to retire your mind. You give your mind a break and turn it towards something more practical, something more useful, something that you can take it with you. right? Whatever you have gathered over here is going to stay here. Why keep running after something beyond and above what you already have? That's enough. But then, oh, my son has to settle down. And then son settles down, and then, oh, my grandchildren has to be settled down. It never ends. New projects keep coming.
I have a guy in Newark, Shrenik Technology, that's the name of the company. The guy is 84 and he's working there as a purchase. He's a purchasing guy. So I said, why are you working at him? I have nothing else to do.
Right.
Honestly, he said, I don't need money. But what do I do at home?
Is it in Newark or Jersey? Newark, I think.
It is in Newark. Yeah.
I know that.
Shrenik Technology.
Shrenik Technology.
Yeah. Shrenik Shah is the plant manager if you need.
I see.
Yeah. So he said, I have nothing else. What do I do at home?
Exactly. So people don't have a focus, and that's why we never come out of it. And we keep building our empire, which we have to give it away anyway. That's how we have seen a lot of examples, a lot of rich people, they expand so much, but at the end they say it's all, give it away and then walk
they
away.
put pressure on their children that you must look after what I created.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But it's not necessary.
It's not necessary. They have their own minds and they have their own set of frame of mind too. So this is not permanent, and we have to look at it as not permanent, right? The only time this will happen though is when we start realizing all these discussions and sometimes you really sit down and brood over it, and we realize and think at a distance. We step outside of our life and realize that these things are futile. I mean, obviously everybody has to make a living to some extent, but beyond certain means, it becomes useless. So once you realize it, then your journey towards the spirituality starts. So that's why Jin Chandra Maharaj says the same thing. I'm going to repeat it every time. જ્યારે ભવ ભ્રમણનો થાક લાગ્યો હોય, અનંત સુખની ઈચ્છા જાગી હોય, તો શાંત સુધારસ છે.
No, then that's the beginning point. Till that time it doesn't start.
Right, it doesn't start. This is just the starting point.
Just write it down.
ભવ ભ્રમણનો થાક લાગ્યો હોય અને અનંત સુખની આશા જન્મી હોય. ઈચ્છા.
That's very hard.
It is hard. Well,
very hard.
again, the thing is that because we are playing with the toys. We keep playing with the toys all the time. We never have a chance to come out of it. And we never think that there is another reality beyond that.
And you will not drop those bandhans till you have these two things.
Right.
Huh?
Exactly.
Only when you have that now you are tired of all this bhav and now you want the infinite happiness, then only that those things will drop.
True.
Till that time it will stay.
It's not going to happen. That's why they have a beautiful word. It's the mumukshatva. Intense desire.
Burning intense
desire to reach the enlightened state is the mumukshatva.
Sant Sudharas.
And they have another word I just learned from Rajneesh is abhipsa. He says not ichha, not abhilasa, abhipsa. Abhipsa. That's like intense, where every single cell of your body is desiring the enlightenment.
If you are doing Ganesh sadhana, they use this abhipsa in Ganesh sadhana.
So people who are saying that I find it difficult, this and that, they have not really put 100% into it. That's where the problem is. A lot of people complain, oh, I do this, but I'm not really heading anywhere, this and that, because they have not put 100%. The 100%, until the 100% goes in there, it's not going to happen. If you do it half-heartedly, okay, let's make one more last deal. I'm going to make few more dollars. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Once this is over, then I'll do it. Everything is put off. You're not there. Until the 100% is there, it's not going to happen. So the whole life has to be put in a gamble to that. And that's the only time when things going to start happening. And it can happen because you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. All this tilak, go to temples, all this kriya. Again, people get focused so much on kriya. But all this kriya, if without bhav, has no value. And once you have bhav, you don't need kriya anyway. And then he says every single thing that you do, because Paramatma is everywhere. Paramatma is inside you. And when it is inside you, all you have to do is go inside. You sit down and meditate. You do dhyan, you do meditation. That's where the moksha is. And it relieves you. So doing kriyas, you get so much involved, it's just another toy. The kriya is just another toy that is given to you. And once you do that, you feel that you did something. So again, it builds up your ego, that I did such and such religious stuff. I donated a such and such amount of money.
It ties you down.
Right, it ties you down again. It defines you. You want the Paramatma who is formless, and you're going into activities which can be defined.
Right.
How is it going to happen? Right? You're doing something material and trying to reach infinite. Material being finite, you cannot. Those are just the helps, but those are not the final destinations. But when you start going to the temples and start doing all this arti and puja and all those things, then you get carried away into that and you feel that you did dharma.
Yeah, but then what's the, we have been taught to do prayers all the time.
Yeah, we've been taught.
It's a classic way to do
So
that.
is
Like
the
it's
prayers-
an initial stage, right? It's not unnecessary,
good,
but it
no?
is. Yeah,
It is
It
good
may be
for
good,
the
it may
people
not be good.
to really.
For some people
from
who are, let's say,
normal activity, you are at least focused there, Otherwise, you will be only dragged by the normal activities. So for those, but if you are in a higher state, then there has to be a shift.
exactly.
From
So
doing into
if the
sadhana.
student is like gifted and
Yeah,
he
true.
has like a caliber of 12th standard, 12th grade, you don't have to start from the grade 1, 2,
Well,
3, 4.
going to the
Yeah.
temple will be always better than going to a casino, for example.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
yeah.
Right. So from that way, at least it gives you a better alternative.
I mean, that mass
Basic-
energy also helps.
Basically,
Right.
it's just creating an environment for you.
Right.
It's not doing anything for
But
you.
again,
It's
that's
just
just
the
the starting
environment
point.
is there.
That's just the starting point.
Yeah.
And the job of the so-called religious leaders is to take you further from there. But that doesn't happen.
If they have experienced it.
If they have
The
experience.
point is, if they have
If they have
experienced
experience
it.
it, then they can teach. If they cannot
iPhone,
experience it, they cannot teach. So the thing is that once you get involved into all these things, and then again, it's all